they're real people, and it was just a really nice community part of. And then you learn how to be an insider in the industry, so that when you send out stuff, you're sending out the stuff that is professional, and not just randomly, because it's very different. Not only do you need to send out things in a certain format that's professional in this industry, but each publishing house has their own, a little bit different idea about it. So the more you know about that, and the more you show you know about that, the more likely you'll be taken more seriously, and you'll stand out in the slush pile when you're sending out stuff. Um, Anyways, that's been my experience. In fact, I've had some really crazy things happen with sending stuff to the slush pile. When I was first starting, I sent out a book and I went all out. Like I was just saying, I made my book proposal, as professional as I could. I did a really nice uh, book dummy that I hand bound, and I mean, it was all hand done. It was like, a work of art, just putting it all together. And I sent it, and the art director, she couldn't place the book. They just didn't have any room on their list. And that's the other thing. There has to be an opening for the book. They already have stuff scheduled, and if it doesn't quite fit, they're not going to buy it. But she felt so bad that I put so much work into it, and she sent it to another publisher for me. So that she and they still didn't buy it, but they were so nice about it, and they were so supportive, and they became friends. So, and then other stuff comes up because of it. Like it's just wild stuff like that you would never think would happen, just by trying, And anyways. And then I've had other times where they've completely lost the book. They've lost stuff, and 2 years later they find it, and then there's all kinds of stuff, fun stuff happens that you don't expect in your business with working in this field. I said the people are very, very nice. You hardly ever meet anybody that's really rotten, which is nice. Yeah. So, well, I don't know. I guess maybe the other thing is. If you've ever sent anything out to a publisher, I don't know if you've had. I know Liz and I have talked about this a little bit, about things to send out, how to prepare stuff to send out. Well, like I said, it depends on the publisher. Everyone's different. You have to, But the main thing is that you're showing them your art style. If you're writing a story yourself, if you want to write and illustrate a book, then you need to show them your writing, your art, and do a book dummy, and put together an illustration manuscript package together. And even if you do that, and they might just fall in love with your artwork and say, well, we can't really place a story, but we would like you to illustrate something else. That's always a possibility. And in fact, if you're sending out stuff, you could even say that you're also interested in illustrating illustrating if there's any opportunity. Not that it just has to be this only, if that makes sense. In fact, it's nice for them to see. I don't know. Maybe your teachers have already told you that it's good to have a book dummy on hand, just to show that you can actually do that. Tell a story. Show consistency of character throughout a whole book, show all the different, the different layouts, and be able to do it. Because if you, especially if you want to work in books, you have to be able to do that, have that skill. And not everybody can do it. Some people can do, some great, one picture that's really great of a character, but they can't put that character in 10 different pictures. It's not easy. It's hard. It's fun, but it's hard. Anyways, did you have any questions about that, or I can tell you some of the things that I've been doing lately, like as not even sending, like with a picture book, because it's such a short book, you do want to send the whole package. But if you're doing something longer, like let's say you really want to do a graphic novel that's like 50 pages or 100 pages long, that's too much to put together the whole thing and do thumbnail sketches for the entire. I would do that for myself, but you wouldn't want to send that to somebody. You would want to send out a query letter and tell them your idea of what you want to do. And the interesting thing about graphic novels and the publishers, a lot of times, right now they don't all. There's not completely hard fixed guidelines yet. At least I've been able to find out, and just from talking to different editors, it's almost like, share your idea, do a book proposal, a real book proposal that you can find how to do book proposals, but do a book proposal, show samples of the artwork, and send that first. And then if they like the idea, then they might say, okay, well, I'd like to see the next version of that, So that's kind of fun, because then you could do, you might have like 3 or 4 ideas, and you're not sure which one to work on. And you're like, okay, well, I'll do a proposal for all of them and see which one gets interest, And that's kind of a nice way to work too. And so one of the things that I did with my illustration business is, I have maybe 3 or 4 jobs going on now. I try to book out 2 years of work. That's been most of my career. I try to book out at least 2 years of work. So which means is I'm always creating new work. I'm always finishing deadlines, and I'm always sending out stuff. I'm always, just like any other business, like McDonald's. I mean, you don't just hear about McDonald's once. We hear about it all the time, everywhere, constantly. It's annoying sometimes. But not that you should be annoying, but it's just that it's not just a one-time thing, And get a really good system of how you're gonna put your stuff out there. And I went from the beginning. When I started, I did quarterly. Every quarter, I'm going to send stuff, and I don't send stuff at Christmas because everybody does. So I send stuff after Christmas, like, Happy New Year card or something about spring. If you're in the book industry, there's book, send something when it's book month of the year or something to do with the industry, something to do that they're going to care about. But if you send something, I mean, you can send something seasonally, but everybody else does too. So there's millions of stuff there. They all have a Christmas card. But if you send them a New Year's card, how many are they getting? Or just Happy Spring or something. So it depends on the genre, and the who your target is, who your audience is. They might appreciate that. It's summer, you need a holiday, card. But anyways, I try to do that every quarter and try to be different, try to do something silly or do funny, or depending on, like I said, your market. My market is kids. It's humorous usually. And I'm not too cutesy, but silly and fun. And I also do I do a huge amount of nonfiction in my work. And that's the other thing. When I started out, I thought, okay, I just want to do children's books. And then I thought, well, yeah, but there's trade publishers, there's magazine publishers, there's educational publishers, there's nonfiction. I mean, there's all kinds of areas within that genre. So I started looking at, well, what is it? Where do I fit in? And I go, when I first started, I thought, I only want to be in trade books. That's what I'll do. And I'm thinking, well, I don't know, maybe I'll just send to everybody and just start seeing where I get interest. And then next thing you know, I started getting all these jobs in nonfiction. And I'm thinking, well, I love nonfiction. I read nonfiction. So now, 20 some odd years later, I've done like over 80 subjects. Nonfiction. I love nonfiction, and it came out. It just sort of, that part of my work just sort of grew because that's where I'm excited about it. And I didn't even know it when I started. So then I got, okay, I've got this nonfiction little bit going on here with this group of publishers. I'm still doing some trade stuff that I really want to do. I really like the comic strip and the comic book stuff. And it's just in the last few years that this industry has really changed. And now with iPad and all that stuff, I'm doing interactive books, which is I never even heard of that when I first started. So it's exciting, all this stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have my stuff moves now. That's just this boggling. I'm still using my same style. I know basically, using the same tools, and it doesn't matter. Oops, I'm getting text from. I better shut Facebook, huh?
So glad you like the rest of us.
I know, it's nice because it's really nice to be able to connect with all your friends, And so we all have the same kind of thing going on. But you also get to see each other's work too, which is kind of fun. Anyway, I guess that's what I'm saying. It's amazing how a business starts. I started out, I really want to do children's books, and then I've got 5 different areas of children's books that I work in, and then Well, the other thing that happens is that people want you to talk about it. And so you have to